On a riverbank in the ancient land of Kalinga, the ground was soaked in blood. The year was 261 BCE. Emperor Ashoka, ruler of the most powerful empire India had ever known, stood amid tens of thousands of corpses. Soldiers, peasants, children. The battle was won. But something inside him had been irrevocably lost. This moment, when a king who once gloried in conquest was transformed by the sight of suffering, would change not just his life, but the future of an empire. To understand how the Mauryan Empire reached this point of triumph and tragedy, we must journey back to the political intrigue, ambition, and vision that gave birth to one of history's first great empires. Before the Mauryans, the Indian subcontinent was a patchwork of kingdoms, republics, and warring dynasties. The mighty Nandas ruled from Pataliputra, today's Patna, wielding enormous wealth, but earning the resentment of their subjects. Beyond India's northwest frontier, a new threat loomed, the shadow of Alexander the Great. In 326 BCE, Alexander's armies thundered into the Punjab, clashing with King Porus at the Hydaspes River. Though the Macedonian conquest faltered after Alexander's death, it left behind a power vacuum and a profound lesson. The Indian kingdoms, divided, were vulnerable. Into this world of fractured kingdoms and foreign invaders stepped a man of extraordinary ambition, a man whose name would echo for millennia, Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta's origins remain shrouded in mystery. Ancient texts describe him as of humble birth, perhaps a peacock tamer, perhaps a prince in exile. But his destiny changed when he met a brilliant Brahmin strategist, Chanakya. Chanakya, also known as Kautilya, was no ordinary scholar. Author of the Arthashastra, a treatise on statecraft and espionage, he believed that power was built not just on armies, but on intelligence, alliances, and ruthless pragmatism.
A ruler must be as wise as a sage and as cunning as a serpent.
By 321 BCE, Chandragupta had overthrown the Nandas and established the Mauryan dynasty, founding an empire that stretched from Bengal to Afghanistan. The Mauryan Empire became the first power to unify most of the Indian subcontinent. Under Chandragupta, the capital at Pataliputra emerged as a hub of politics, trade, and culture. The empire's strength lay not only in its armies, but also in its administration. A highly organized bureaucracy collected taxes, maintained roads, and oversaw trade routes that connected India to Central Asia and the Mediterranean. Chandragupta's reign also marked a turning point in diplomacy. He forged an alliance with Seleucus I, a successor of Alexander, even marrying Seleucus's daughter. Through war and negotiation, the Mauryan borders stabilized, ushering in an age of unprecedented prosperity. In his later years, Chandragupta renounced worldly power, embracing the austere path of Jainism. His abdication paved the way for his son Bindusara, who expanded the empire further south. But it was under Bindusara's son, Ashoka, that the Mauryan legacy would reach both its zenith and its crisis. Ashoka Maurya ascended the throne in 268 BCE after a bloody succession struggle. Known for his military genius, he expanded the empire's borders to cover nearly the entire subcontinent. But Ashoka's ambition was not yet sated. In 261 BCE, he launched a campaign against Kalinga, a prosperous region on the eastern coast. The war would become one of the bloodiest in Indian history, claiming over 100,000 lives. The victory at Kalinga brought Ashoka no joy. Haunted by the sight of suffering and death, he turned away from conquest and embraced the teachings of the Buddha. In one of his inscriptions, Ashoka confessed, "Even 100th or 1,000th part of those who were slain in Kalinga now weighs heavily on the king." This moment transformed Ashoka into the Dhamma Ashoka, a ruler who renounced war, promoted nonviolence, and sought to govern through compassion. Ashoka's conversion to Buddhism reshaped the empire. He sent missionaries to Sri Lanka, Central Asia, and even Greece. The lion-crowned Ashokan pillars, many still standing today, carried his message of tolerance and moral governance. Under Ashoka, the Mauryan Empire became not just a political giant, but a cultural beacon, a realm where trade, art, and religion flourished together. Yet, the foundations of the empire were fragile. After Ashoka's death in 232 BCE, regional governors asserted independence. By 185 BCE, the last Mauryan ruler Brihadratha was assassinated by his own general, Pushyamitra Shunga, marking the empire's end. The Mauryan legacy faded, but it left behind new ideas about governance, ethics, and the role of the state. Ideas that would echo in Indian thought for centuries. Today, the Mauryan story continues to inspire. Chandragupta's political unification, Chanakya's statecraft, and Ashoka's moral revolution remain subjects of study and admiration. Yet the empire also reminds us of a timeless truth: that power, when untempered by conscience, can sow both glory and devastation. "2,000 years ago, the Mauryan Empire rose from the ambitions of a boy and the wisdom of a teacher. It expanded through bloodshed, but found its soul in remorse. In the rise and fall of this empire lies a lesson, that the true strength of a civilization is not measured by the lands it conquers, but by the values it upholds.